I would never play as a black guy. Who's this? Like, hey guys, guess what? We had sex. I forgot I've been using the Marco.
Polo.
Yes, Marco Polo. That makes me miss Uncharted even more. What a great game.
That was a very fun game series.
I still think what's an equivalent in the past, like, I don't know, 10 years of anything that's been as good as like some of those like early mid 2000s video game series, like Uncharted series, God of War series. Like what do we have recently? Is there anything?
Well, not really. It's not, you know, because there's not been as big a focus lately on good games, you know? It's all about who you have. Now it's like, look at all these people we have making our games, or look at all the types of people we've included in the gameplay, or the focus is no longer on the game being good.
I think too that you did kind of just say this, but I mean the thing that I feel is probably the biggest reason really does kind of center around gameplay modes have become more important
than the gameplay
than
itself.
any sort of the gameplay. Well, true, but also what am I trying to say? More so than a story. Like, think of the last time you were talking to someone about a Call of Duty game, besides me, and they were like, hey, did you play the campaign of Call of Duty? The story was fantastic. How long has it been since someone looked you in the eyes and said that to you? And you think about the original, the first, I don't know, 6 Call of Duty games, the only thing that mattered was the campaign.
Yeah. Definitely the only thing that mattered to us, because we didn't have internet.
Very true. Someone was telling me the other day, they're like, man, you know what was really good about the Uncharted series? They just had such great PvP, you know? And I'm like, no, that's zero clue. I didn't even know Call of Duty first Uncharted game had PvP of any kind.
Yeah. So it did look like fun, though. Was it the first one or the second one that had it?
I think it was the remaster of the first one / the second one.
Yeah, it did look like, the
yes.
PvP did look like fun, but I've never played it.
No, me either. I think I did. I take that back. Uncharted 3, I did play it for like a couple rounds of the game. It's something. I mean, it's just like playing PvE, but if the people were not stupid. So you can decide whether or not that's fun, but it's interesting.
Well, I mean, it would be fun because it's the same stuff but better, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same gameplay but better. Obviously, what made Uncharted great wasn't the gameplay, you know?
No.
It was fun to play, but that wasn't it. It was all about the story. And the cinematic. Not the cinematics, but the cinematic feel of the game.
Yeah.
It was you were playing a movie and you knew it.
Yeah, that was the very, very first game like that.
I mean,
good thing I put the gate up for you, huh?
I would say that was a very popular thing in the early '90s, was to play a movie. But literally, like the QuickTime games, you know.
Well, those were terrible. If I start making weird noises because I'm holding a baby. So that was different. So you have games like, what am I thinking of? What you know what I'm talking about.
Phantasmagoria.
Oh. Well, you're absolutely correct, but that's not what I was thinking of.
Oh.
The one that I'm thinking of was for the Sega CD. Double Switch?
Oh
Sneaker, was it called?
that game. I can't think of what that game is called. I couldn't figure that game out because I was too young to really get what was going on.
Yep.
Because I may have been smarter than you, but you had more like comprehension of things. You know that
I
comes with
mean, you were
age.
7. I mean, so in your defense. But yeah, those were that was when that kind of, I don't want to say craze because obviously it never turned into a craze. It was never popular after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of had it start there, and then video games. I know, baby. I see it. I'm trying to help. They started adding cinematics, and that was cool. But I mean, nothing really succeeded in being a cinematic game until that. Nothing was successful at it until that game. And it was just, I remember when we got it, like you and I got the game, like we bought a PlayStation 3, and that game and like a few other games with our graduation money. And like played that game, and it was like the most ridiculous thing we'd ever seen at that point. Maybe that water's hot. Don't put your hand in it.
Yeah, I knew. Of course, you know, every game looks better as far as that goes today, except for, I mean, no, not today. 6 months ago, a year ago, everything looked better, but now I'll maybe go say 2 years ago, but now we have so many unskilled, untalented people that are hired just because their hair is bright fluorescent green. That the quality of games has gone down a lot, even the graphical quality. But
Okay, Andromeda. That was a nightmare.
that was horrible. But I wasn't even a huge Mass Effect game, and that game hurt me. I wasn't a huge Mass Effect fan. I wasn't a Mass Effect game.
It's true, you were.
I wasn't a huge Mass Effect fan, and that game got to me. But they dang it. Okay, so the guy who killed me at the beginning is still camping in the corner. But even though everything, you know, everything has the potential, I'll put it that way, to look so much better than that did. But like, even that being the case, I still remember when Mom came in while we were playing that game and said, "What movie are you guys watching?"
Yeah. Yeah, back in 2008. And it's also like what's really funny is there are games like you're kind of already saying this. There are games coming out right now that don't look that good.
Yeah.
Like one whole generation console later, can't pull that off.
2. This is PlayStation 5 era
That's
today.
true. I knew that, you big dumb idiot.
Hey, why'd you leave?
I am getting blueberries for Sal.
Okay, so you said you were kicked for inactivity.
I was actually I'm getting a baby blueberries, so I was kind of kidding, kind of not kidding.
Gotcha. So you were getting blueberries, it just wasn't for Sal.
It just wasn't for Sal. You know. Sometimes it'd be like that. Got to clean out some of these cups. Yeah, I had to. We were talking, so I wasn't going to interrupt our conversation to tell you what I was doing, but I was getting the quick blueberries and cleaning a cup out for a child very quickly so that we could keep her alive.
This is interesting.
You say something interesting, but I don't believe you.
Well, this fellow, the guy who fixed my truck, his name is William Hagen.
Oh, yes, Hagen.
Yes. But the name of the company is CH Automotive, and down at the bottom it says, "Make all checks payable to Carmelia Hagen," which I believe is the fellow's wife. If William Hagen fixed my truck, then why is the automotive company and the check payable all supposed to be to his wife? This sounds like a classic marriage to me.
I will tell you that makes me very happy because that means it's like some kind of like a one-man shop kind of a thing, and I love to see that.
Yeah. Oh,
He's like, make it out to the wife. She handles all the bills.
such a one-man shop kind of thing. When I took to the guy's shop, I literally drove the car over to his house, and he worked on it in his actual garage.
No, put it there. There's a guy on my street who does that. You've seen him before. He's wearing like a jean cutoff, always wearing a terrible hat, and a gigantic mustache, and always waves at you. You had to have seen him at the end of my street before.
I'm sure I have.
But yeah, he just works on everyone's car, like at the end of the block. I'm sure he does the same thing. But no, I do. I love that. I love this. The hyper small business type of thing is amazing.
Well, one great thing about it is the guy has, since it all in his house, the guy doesn't have any like actual like shop overhead, and so he can charge a lot less.
For the house, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But he can charge a lot less labor costs and everything, while still making a good profit. Like right now, the going hourly rate for mechanic work, not for the mechanics, but for what you're being charged, it starts at and is usually higher than, but it starts at $100 an hour.
Yeah.
This guy charges $60 an hour for labor.
Love you.
Pick it up from that. Finish your coffee. Have a good day. Clean up poop. Arlie, stay with Daddy. Come here.
Cash your check if you still Walmart and get sitting solution.
Okay. If they won't let you cash it, just deposit it into like one of our accounts or whatever.
Can you do that? Get the check made out to them.
Well, if you can cash it, that's better. I'm just saying whatever they'll let you do. You're not just gonna have it floating into the ether. I love you. Let me know what happens.
Bye-bye. We're not going bye-bye. I'm just grabbing a muffin.
Mwah. All right.
Is it bye-bye?
Yes, they're going bye-bye. Okay, I'm back in earnest.
Okay. So someone just put up a thing, said breaking. YouTube removes Drew Hernandez's anti-grooming videos for hate speech. And someone commented on it and said, "This just in, YouTube protects groomers. In other news, water wet."
Shocking turn of events.
The card, is that gun game?
I don't know. I guess.
So we
Give me
have
my cup of coffee, please.
TDM and gun game selected.
You sneeze in my coffee, though. I just need a little bit of that in there, if you don't mind. Love you. I actually haven't played gun game on this game yet, unless I modded with you one time.
It is fun. It's blueprint gun game, so nothing's at the base
It's a little more
level.
interesting.
Yeah. 2020 is United States had the most fat and free erection.
The most fat and free erection. No, thank you. I'm being offered blueberries. It's very hard to turn down a 2-year-old handing you blueberries. But I don't want the blueberries. Your bites?
Huh? What?
Those are your bites.
Find it.
Patrick, bite it. Chew,
Thank
chew,
you.
chew, chew.
No, thank you. Decoy gun game. You and your allies must destroy the enemy.
Do it. It's a muffin.
How?
I'm turning up your volume a little bit.
'Cause I'm super quiet.
Not like super quiet, but yeah, quiet.
Also, I'm okay with that. I am the most super, so. Okay, I have a gun. This looks like a game. Let's see what happens. This must be. Oh.
It was me.
You suck. You diddler of other men's dongs.
You dongle diddler.
You little dong, I'm. You little dong, I'm. Hi, B. Talking to Puppy.
Get along, little donkey.
I knew that range was not good to be shooting at you with this gun, but whoa! Did I just kill a? I just killed a Titan. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, they have
that.
they have that skin in this game. It's fantastic.
Hey, babe.
It says it's for contact lenses, but then it says it cleans and disinfects.
If it's saline solution, I checked
No.
this. It's fine either way. We could have technically used that nasal spray that I found because it's technically the same stuff. It just been very difficult to spray because there's little nozzles. But it's a saline solution. It'll work either way. It'll be fine.
You're a saline solution.
I am a saline solution. I love you. Good luck. Have fun. Clean up poop. All that jazz. Mwah.
Clean up poop and the jazz.
It's hard to clean up jazz. Whoa, that gun holds terribly. What was that? Oh, this is some kind of really terrible sniper rifle, isn't it?
Is it the tank buster?
Yes. I hate this. It's better kill from the feet up. That's all I got to say. Wow, it does. Holy cow.
Yeah, no, it's a heck of a gun.
Jiminy Christmas. All of a sudden, I said, holy cow, and Arlie goes, where's cow? No, baby, there's no cows.
Ah, a bazooka.
What a shot.
Help, I've been shot.
I've been shot. I'm here to kick bubblegum and chew ass.
And I'm all out of cheese, unfortunately.
I'm all out of cheese.
I've nary a
Damn
cheese.
it! We're out of cheese. I'm performing quite poorly this round. And I just got shot. I really don't like finishing outside of top 3 for this because it makes me feel sad. I don't like being sad. Ooh, this is a very slow-firing gun. Tell him, baby. Scream.
So far, only 2 people have gotten the kill with this shotgun, or the bazooka. Oh, you have also. Okay, 3 people have gotten killed with the bazooka. Oh no, we've tied. This is not. There we go. I've pulled ahead of you.
I can't find anybody.
Yay!
Oh, I got a kill. Right there.
Okay, so keep this in mind. If you do make it to the final kill, getting a melee kill does not do it. They give you a melee weapon. Getting a melee kill with the weapon does not get the kill. It does not count as the kill. You have to either throw a throwing knife for the kill, or if you hold ADS while you're holding that weapon, the weapon actually comes up for you to throw. So either has to be with a throwing knife or throw your melee weapon.
That's good. I like that.
But getting a melee kill won't do it.
I think that's a very good rule, and I enjoy it. So this is a very embarrassing thing for me, honestly, but it makes for interesting things to talk about. So you're aware that weeds grow very fast.
Yes, I know how fast weeds grow.
And there is, well, yes, we track it. And the weeds that are in my front yard are they're a very weird kind. I don't know what they are, but I mean, when you see them, you're like, oh yeah, they're those thick-stalked ones that grow very fast. So the last time I mowed, which was, I haven't had a chance to mow this week at all because we've been doing the cows. And so it was the week before that, I couldn't cut my weeds. Well, my weed eater wasn't working. And the weeds grew quite a lot. And I was out there the other day, and like wow, these weeds are awful. Like, they're so terrible. I was like, I really need to mow. Like, okay, over the weekend, I'm going to do that. We're done with the cows. I'll actually be home during the day. I'll get this done. Awesome. Yesterday, I came home, and the most embarrassing thing that can happen as a man is I go outside, and there's a flag in my yard that says, you are going against the City of Richmond's weed ordinance. If you do not clean your weeds in 10 days, we will come cut your weeds for you. And I was like, this is the most demoralizing thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. Like, I've failed as a man
Hey!
Nothing I can do is as much of a failure as this right here.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of funny. I haven't had the opportunity to mow for about a week, and so my mowing is about a week overdue. But it's been so dry that yeah, but it's been so dry that I haven't mowed in a month, and it's only about a week overdue. And that's hilarious.
See, yeah, that's
to
the way
me.
that ours has been for a while, but there's a bunch of rain all at once. So after we got a bunch of rain all at once, then it needed it. But then because of that, the weeds grew like crazy for like 6 straight days. They grew so much, I was alarmed. I'm like, I'm in a movie. Like, this is a horror movie, and we're gonna get killed by these weeds. I thought I was in the color out of space for a while. Did you watch that movie, by the way?
No, I
The
didn't.
film adaptation? I highly recommend it. Stop Killing Me. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Hey, can you stop being in second place / first place now tied with me? It's so well
no,
there
thank
for a
you.
moment or two. I hate this gun. I'm glad you're dead.
You must really hate it. Wow.
There's a guy camping? How boring.
Ow.
It's fine. That guy's name is Wild on Drugs.
World on drugs.
Oh.
Which makes
Okay.
even less sense. Which,
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Ah, that's my anus that I've been shot in.
what the heck, man?
My anus is taking you pounding. Come on, game.
No, focus.
Sucks to suck, Sean.
Welcome.
I think it's pretty good to suck, Sean.
Thank you, baby. Hey.
Trust me. I always enjoy it.
Hey. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. I'm gonna shoot that guy for sitting still, idiot. Oh, what a shot. Oh, I'm so good. I'm the best at this game. Turn off your software.
What do I have?
What you got, baby?
Is this a snipper?
Whoa.
Yeah, this... No, this isn't a snipper. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't use it as a snipper. A snipper, it is not.
Okay, I have the melee weapon. I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
Left click to melee attack, right click to aim your melee attack, and throw your melee attack.
Left click to throw your melee attack?
No, left click just to make a melee attack, but if you hold right click and then left click... No, Patrick, no! Patrick, you're not allowed back there. Daddy's spanking, get out.
I'm so annoyed. I had that W clinched. Dang it. I don't know how to use this weapon at all.
Yeah, so like, if you just push fire, you'll swing your melee weapon as if it were a melee attack.
I noticed, yes.
Yeah. If you hold ADS, you'll hold it up like you're gonna throw it, and the throwing knife indicator pops up.
Oh.
And then press attack, and you'll throw it. Or you can also just throw you also throw in knives when you get there, and you can.
Well, I had the throwing knives. I mean, obviously, I was using the throwing knives, but yeah, I hadn't figured out the aiming and chucking and all of the such.
They kicked me out of your match.
Why? Because you're a homosexual?
No, because they pulled me out of the game like 5 seconds before they pulled you out of the game. So then it showed you in a full lobby, and you were in a full lobby, and I couldn't join it because it was that. So therefore, I could no longer be part of your party.
As it should be.
There's this thing. I think it's fake.
Sweet baby.
I think it must be fake. It's like everyone's interviewing just a bunch of random families. about like say like it's like a news story where they're saying this girl like performed a bunch of sexual acts behind the bleachers at a high school. Like, okay, well, it seems like an odd news story to interview other people about. Here we are. They start going to all these families and be like, oh man, they've been that way for generations. Her mama was nasty. Her grandma was nasty. It's just really stupid. But you get to the very, very end, there's this old lady, and she goes, well, yeah, haven't you heard? That's the reason why Rosa Parks went to the front of the bus. She was trying to get away from her nasty ass. And then I laughed for approximately 75 minutes.
That's fantastic. So, my son was laying on the floor.
I've met him, yes.
And he thought it was very cute that he was doing that, and it's because it was. And so I went to take a picture of him, so I pulled out my phone, and before I could open the camera app, he crossed the room, came to me, took the phone from me, then went back to where he was and laid back down on the floor.
He said, no thank you, no pictures of this time. I just did that. So Ren has these two stuffed animals, and they're her very, very favorite possessions, and they are a clearly masculine and feminine plague doctor.
Uh-huh.
But like little plushed animals, and she loves them to death, and it's great, it's adorable. And Arlie also likes them. So just now when Ren left, she left her two plushed animals on the couch. So Arlie crawled up onto the couch, got one on each side of her and each arm, and just sat there giving both of them hugs. And I'm like, I gotta take a picture of this. And I pull out my camera, and as soon as she saw me pull out my camera, she kicked both of them off of the couch violently.
Sounds like a child, all right.
It's like, meow! All right. Okay.
Yeah, it was said as a joke, but I really do have to be sneaky if I'm going to take a picture or video of the kid.
Well, especially your son. He's like, hey, I'm not gay. Don't catch me doing gay stuff.
Yeah. Either it's, he'll stop doing it, or he'll either see that I have a camera and he'll just go ham for the camera.
Like, brah! I'm crazy! That happens sometimes, and it's adorable, but usually it's just them being jerks. Like, I like this thing. I know at least a handful of other people who also like to see you doing this thing. They're like, well, they don't get that enjoyment. I stop.
So, it is cool, though, because he's at the stage where he knows that being goofy is funny, and he knows that we think it's funny, so therefore, he wants to do it just because he knows, hey, these people laugh when I do this thing. And he's at that point, and it's hilarious. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Oh, you can kiss my butthole with that one.
Arlie, what are you doing? What? She's just sitting in a crate. Like, all curled up into a ball, just sitting very still. It's kind of terrifying.
Patrick did that, so, like, we knew we were getting a dog, and so we started getting dog stuff, just so, we could have it. Just make things easier.
Dog, right.
That way it would already be there when the dog showed up, And, so we got a big, fat, huge water dish, and we had it sitting in there, and that was Patrick's favorite thing to do, was we had it sitting in the living room, and he would just curl up and sit down in the water dish.
He's like, this is my spot. I hope no one ever puts water into this. There's a lot of people camping in this room, which is not uncommon, but it is annoying. I know we've had this discussion a trillion times, and people have been making fun of people camping online a billion times, and I get it. This is over-talked about. But I don't understand. What are we doing? Why is this enjoyable? Like, is it just because you want to have a good-looking stat line? Is it, like, the only reason why you play? Do you just play the game to have a good stat line? Because if that's the point, you're like, oh, no, I can't stand Call of Duty, but I know people who play Call of Duty, and I want to be able to show them my stat line. If that's the only reason why you play, I wish you would stop, because that's really annoying. But that can be fun, right?
Yeah, the only time I can see choosing to play a game and you're not, and you do not have fun playing that game, would be like, you know, maybe you're a streamer, right? And you're like, I don't really enjoy this game, but it gets a lot of views.
Yeah, and like I have a lot of people requesting it. Like I get that. We'll allow it.
Oh crap!
I don't want to play this, but I mean that's like when it's your job. And like I don't want to do this, but it's my job, and I'm at work right now, so.
Which is literally me every day at work, so.
This is true, and I mean at least approximately 100% of the people camping are not streaming for money.
No! Oh no! The stupid camper, man. I was almost at my bombing run, then I'd only been 3 off dogs.
Yeah.
And...
Speaking of almost being on a bombing run.
Did you get a bombing run?
No, but I am about to poop my pants.
Ah, yes.
This has been
You're about to have the
most...
bombing runs.
This has been the most dysfunctional stream recording session, whatever you want to call it, I think we've ever had.
Yes, it's fantastic. I hope it makes it.
We spent at least, I mean, like, obviously, if you're listening to this, you don't know this. We've been rambling about stupidity, so this has got to be the most boring thing ever for anyone watching this. At least there's a game. At least there's game content. We're not even being funny.
At least there's gay content.
At least there's gay content. We did talk about the monkeypox, I guess.
We did. Okay, this Japanese.
This Japanese.
The Japanese is the most annoying person in this lobby.
And the world, am I right?
Up there. Yeah. No, don't.
Arlie. No, baby. Don't just take all the blueberries out of your bowl and put them on the table.
I finally had to stop telling my child to please quit shoving blueberries up your nose. And part of it's like, what an idiot. And then part of it's like, I finally got to say something. It's just so stupid.
Is it your first time?
This is my first, well, you know, I've said lots of stupid things, but I've never had to look a person in the eye and be like, hey, you know you shouldn't shove blueberries up your nose. And they'd be like, yeah, you know, man, it's just, I've had a problem since I was young. Like, my dad did it, my mom did it, it's just a generational curse. Like, you're not having a conversation with the person who knows they shouldn't be shoving blueberries up their nose.
Yeah, just someone at that moment thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, that's all that's happening right now. Also, have they updated, whatever the single missile drop is called? Because, like, I just watched the one on the mini-map come back towards me, and the ability to maneuver it that this person had is way above
what you would have expected.
Well, that and more than I've ever been able to move it. Like, it took like a sharp turn all the way around and then hit me. Which, I mean, I don't care about getting hit with that. I get it, that's part of the game, but I've never seen one move that quickly from left to right then back again.
I've never seen Bowers Field glow like that before.
It's true. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this match is 90 seconds of agony for me at this point, because I'm going to have to take a short intermission to poop. You know what? It'll be up to you if it's an intermission, because, I mean, I'm taking you with me. I'm in my headphones.
Okay. We'll see.
It depends on how loud the poop is.
Oh, if it's really loud, I'm absolutely keeping it in.
So your Mama's House is a podcast that I listen to. This is Tom Segura and his wife. It's two very, very funny people, so it's an enjoyable time. And they used to, and they don't anymore, they used to have fart mics. And I know I've talked about this before about how we need fart mics, and I'm never really kidding. It's always like, haha, fart mics, that would be hilarious. But also fart mics.
Yes, like on the one hand, yes, we do need fart mics. On the other hand, I don't want to buy another microphone.
I'm with you, and I understand all that, but there's just something that would be absolutely beautiful about some of the conversations that we have, and then having a fart interrupt it. I mean, can you imagine how funny it would be to be like, all right, well, when he's talking about going further up the hill in this section of the story, he's actually referring to after we died. It's the journey to heaven that technically our souls are constantly making. And then technically we've always been in heaven or hell. That'd be hilarious.
It would be. So let's see. How would I do it? I think I would put. Yeah, I'd hook up a mic. Yeah, I'd hook up mic to this one, and then I would turn it up so that this so that you could hear it. Oh, I got to play the game. Cool.
Well done.
Then I'd turn this up so that you could hear it, and then I'd also turn this up. I'd make the fart mic like the loudest mic in the game.
Yeah.
Or in
Yeah,
the
you'd have
setup.
a ton of. It'd be difficult to do because you'd have to have. It'd be very difficult because you have to think about logistically. You have to have a microphone that has to be able to pick up a quieter sound, yet while not picking up any other audio. This would be difficult to pull off properly. Think about that.
Yeah.
All right. I've already walked out of the room, so I won't be backing out. I'll just be pooping.
Bish, bish.
Oh.
Bish, bish.
Bish, bish. I just think it'd be funny. I think there's something about there'd be something entertaining about talking about the Great Divorce and just be farting loudly.
To fart while speaking about the Great Divorce.
Yeah.
May I kill it? Or whatever.
Hi, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know what word you're trying to say, but yes, I did chat.
Oh.
You know, one thing that we haven't talked about, and I'm surprised that we haven't had an entire. You and I haven't decided that we were going to have anything dedicated to this. But we should have had one of our talks addressing what is a woman.
Oh yeah, I don't know why we haven't done that yet.
We haven't even talked about that we would do it.
Yeah, we gotta make that one of them. Absolutely.
Like it has to be. No, I'm not a baby, Patrick. Stop making fun of me.
Yeah, but then again though, I don't see what we could. It's like, well, in What is a Woman, Matt Walsh said this, and I agree. And then he said this, and I agree.
We agreed with that.
And then the person
we
he was
came here to say we are big Matt Walsh stands.
yeah. And then the person he was talking to said this, and I disagree.
He also disagreed, and we agreed with him. That's a fair point.
Patrick, that is pipe tobacco.
Is he just going to eat some?
Patrick, you are putting pressure on the wrong arm, you turd. I can't move my aim when you pushing on my right arm.
He doesn't care about you.
Well, I know that. But still.
But. Oh my goodness. So the reason why Ren's going to clean out the tie-outs today, and I find this odd, so they usually make you clean up your own stall. I mean, obviously, because you should be.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey, come back on Saturday. Your stall should already be clean, but it probably isn't. All the areas in between, it's about 2 hours worth of cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have you guys rake all that up and then throw all of it away. And we'll pay each child $200.
Cool.
And I was like, it's an hour's worth of work at most. And they're like, yeah, well, it needs to be done. So, I'm like, yeah, but is that how much you've been paying the adults? Because if so, I think I know where I need to go work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd clean. I for $200 to clean out stalls. I do that every day.
Yeah. I would just quit my job. $200 cash.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it 6 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So let's see. How much do I make? Hold on. Let's see. In a day. Obviously less than that. Let's see. In a day. See, I just got bumped up to 800 a week, which is less than I deserve, but more than I was making. So I'll take
Less
it.
than I deserve.
So that is exactly $20 an hour. Which would mean that in an 8-hour day, so I make $160 a day. So
You're saying you would give that up to make $200 an hour? You're out of your mind.
well, I mean, or even if it wasn't an hour, right? Even if it was a full day's work, I go and I work 8-10 hours shoveling poop for $200 a day. I would absolutely do that every day.
Yes. I find it kind of funny that everyone I tell that to, they're like, "What are you guys doing this evening? When you get off work?" They're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the cattle barn, make sure they're all taken care of, and shovel up their poop and stuff." And everyone's always like, "That's disgusting. You're gonna do that with your time off? This is my favorite thing to do."
Mm-hmm.
I have a blast going out there and messing with cows and the shoveling and poop. I guess I've just been a dad for so long that I just don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a blast.
Okay, so barnyard smells. So the hay and animal pee and animal poop and all those smells together.
Yeah.
There is no way to classify that as a pleasant smell. It is actively unpleasant.
Actively.
But it is also an enjoyable smell. I go out there and I smell that and that stinks.
Yeah, going out there with the cow poop. I was out there all day long. And when I showed up, I didn't think anything about it. When I was doing the work, I didn't think anything about it. Some other lady showed up with her kid that was supposed to be one of the kids we were training how to handle the cattle, the right way to do with the show stick and everything. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
with the show's dick.
The show's dick. And we were so it's a
bull.
How do you guys stay out here all day with this smell? I'm like, it's great. Mm-hmm. What about this do you find repulsive?
For me,
it smells like hard work pays off.
Yeah, because see that's I guess that's probably why I like it, because I associate that smell with things that I like. I like animals. I like barnyard stuff. I like farm work. Hey, buddy, come on out here. And I like all that stuff, and that's what that smell means.
Yeah.
And so, it's the same thing with shrimp. No one can say shrimp smells good. That stuff smells nasty. But the nasty smell of shrimp means I'm about to get to eat shrimp.
Yes.
And so it's a good smell.
I find, and I know you're the kind of person that would agree with me with this for the most part, at least. I would 100 times, if I could ever find a job that does this type of work and pays me enough to quit doing what I'm doing, I would 100 times rather be on a farm baling hay and cleaning up after animals and feeding animals, all that kind of farm work. I'd 100 times rather be doing that every day than what I currently do for a living.
Yeah.
Any time.
I don't trust a man that doesn't say that.
I just love being at the office, and I don't think I could handle all the blisters. I would probably just feel like punching you right in the mouth.
Yeah, and also here's another thing too. For another man that I don't trust is any man that says, no. You see, I enjoy working for somebody else, and that whole every man is his own master thing just doesn't appeal to me. Let me be a wage slave to another man. That's another man that I don't trust.
By the way, you can start whenever. Oh wait, I'm starting. I'll start right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. I think this is. Wow, let's get political. Might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the real line that bothers me the most about talking about being conservative versus being liberal. Mm-hmm. This is where I really find the line, and obviously this is overgeneralizing. This is not perfectly accurate. Okay, I get it. That's fine. You have a group of people who are just they think differently. They want different types of like. Okay, so I'll give you examples. Me, you, and Drew, for instance. Like 3 people that I spend the most time with talking to is you and Drew. I don't talk to a lot of people.
Yes.
I mean, like, you're both very conservative people with conservative ideals, and all 3 of us are. He's like, I wish I was a farm hand. I have so much more fun pouring concrete than I do at my white collar job. Like, he's that kind of guy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Any friends that I have that are more like left leaning, they're just like, I really can't wait. I wish I could be like, work for a big corporation doing stuff like, so I can have all the benefits and all this kind of stuff, but I can still do like work behind a desk. You know what I mean? Like I can really just sit there and don't have to worry about getting my hands dirty. I'm like, I don't like you right now. Like I wish the government would just take over everything so I could quit thinking about stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, see, the second worst thing that has ever happened to our society was manipulating the economy to the point that that the average woman has to work instead of staying and keeping house and raising kids. That's the second worst thing that's happened to our society. The worst thing that's happened to our society is manipulating the economy and the market to the point that instead of staying home and taking care of his house and his homestead and his animals and his property and being his own master, every man has to go and get a job in the job market. It's in either case, those are the worst and second worst thing to ever happen was forcing one person or the other into the job market.
Yeah, and that was and it's, the way that you said that is kind of hard to think about right off the bat to someone who doesn't already think about this stuff a lot. So I kind of wanted to word it a little bit differently because I completely agree with you, but it's because I've been thinking this entire thing most of my life. There is literally nothing in the world I can think of that I would be happier doing than waking up every morning on my own. Shut up, Brooke.
Wake up every morning on your own.
Baby, I cannot imagine anything more better than waking up every morning on my own, like, 20 acres of land that I am going to farm for the produce that my family eats, where I take care of the animals that my family use for food in forms of, like, whatever that happens to be, so that I can do this thing and this thing and this thing all day long, and I don't have to have any money. You can literally survive without currency. And like, oh, I need to have these things that I don't have, and I need more halters fashioned. I should go down to Jebediah's house, and I'll trade him a couple pounds of beef for this. Like, how can you wake up and want something, and like genuinely want something completely different than that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And yes, Brooke, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tyler's in the middle of a speech.
I was freaking out.
I was gonna say a stupid thing. How can there be any good big cities if everybody's just all doing their own thing?
Literally the point.
What she said?
She said, "How can you expect?" She said at the beginning that it was a stupid thing, and she said it because it was stupid. But she said, how can you expect there to be any real big cities if everybody's just off doing their own thing?"
How silly of me. That'd be amazing.
And I am okay. So I would absolutely be fine with people who want the comfort of progress and the comfort of the city. People who want that, having cities and living in them. The only problem is those cities require. Any city requires more money to run than what that city is, than what that city does in and of itself. Now, you could say, okay, yeah, but then the people who come into the city to sell their stuff to the city people, that will bring in the rest of the commerce that the city needs, and that's true, but the only problem with that is the cities became even bigger than that, and then that's where property tax came in, was to handle all that stuff. And property tax is one of the biggest things stopping you from living without... Like, you could live without money right now. Go out, get you some land, and go in there. But property tax stops you from doing it because you need money to help pay property tax.
Yeah. Well, the number of things in the past, probably since, like, we'll say since the 60s. The 60s is the real turning point. And I guess I know that a big thing...
1972, actually.
Yeah, I know a lot of people point to like World War II as being the turning point as far as for women specifically, and they're not wrong. I mean, that's a big deal. But you have this time frame of property taxes, and I don't know, like most people really aren't aware of the fact that income tax didn't used to be a thing, and it was meant to be temporary when it happened. So I mean,
Well,
like, if you
no,
didn't have
no,
income-
it was sold as being temporary, but it was never. They knew they wanted to stop.
No. Yeah, but I mean, like, it was even presented as we're not going to do it forever.
Yeah.
So think about this: if you didn't pay property taxes and you didn't pay income taxes, think about how much less money you could make. So, and like you were talking about money, and I don't like talking about money an awful lot because I find it very annoying or cringy to some degree. But okay, so last year I paid, let's see, $25,000 in taxes. Now, yes, I got some of that back. You get X amount of money. It's like, oh, you get this much of it back. Okay, well then I had a very nice tax return. That's fantastic. Well done. So I only paid $20,000 in taxes. Now, if I didn't pay any of that and I instead had that $20,000, I could work a job that would have worked me a lot less. I could have made a ton less money and been very comfortable and very happy.
Yeah.
So you are literally forcing, like you're talking about, two-income households are almost necessary for a ton of people. Or you have to say, like, well, no, I want to stay as close to the old ways as possible, and we're just going to have to live inside of more meager means. And that's incredibly commendable, but I mean, like, it's unfair. Like, you're punishing people who want to be traditional.
Yeah, well, that's literally the point, though.
Sure.
It's the point is to, like, look at what they're doing in Saudi Arabia, or what they propose in Saudi Arabia. Literally, the point is for the government to own everything, have control over everything, cram people into cities, give them just enough to make them content. All their needs are met. They have stuff they want, but no one will. Oh, I say that. But you won't. That won't be the case. There'll be. I guarantee you, if they do that, there'll be a higher suicide rate in that thing than there is anywhere else, and they won't understand why, because it is the true traditionalism. If you look at the more you creep away from traditionalism, the higher every bad thing is. The crime goes up, suicide goes up. It's because when every man is his own master, that's what your focus is, and it is making your life work is the focus. When you're not, then you no longer have that as a focus. When there's someone else taking care of all that, I don't have to worry about if this happens because I'm going to get a paycheck, I don't have to worry about this because I have this insurance. I don't have to worry about this. The less you have to worry about, the more miserable you likely are. Because
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you because I'm going to say something else. My bad.
That's fine. Because
No.
yeah,
It is not all right.
because the reason for that is because of this. No matter what, your life is going to suck. But the more you spend time, it's like, okay, I have to go out and I have to do this. I have to provide for my family. I have to live in this way. I have to do this. I'm a dad. I have to raise my kids. She's a mom. She has to raise the kids also, and she has to do this. And all of a sudden, you're focusing on the people you're taking care of, rather than, because when you put less emphasis on you and more emphasis on the people you're taking care of, you become you put yourself into a position of forced servitude, i.e. the job market, but you willingly you dedicate your life to willing service. Then when that happens, your mind completely goes off of you. You completely forget how much your life sucks. And when you forget your life sucks, it really doesn't suck that much.
Well, this is the biggest thing that socialism does to the individual. First of all, it destroys the concept of the individual. Obviously, that's kind of a given. But that's the thing in a nutshell. The individual is completely taken away, which is kind of without them ever saying it, because we're too progressive of a nation to actually say something like that, right? But it really is. I mean, the idea of socialism is the death of the individual. It must be. So if you are no longer an individual, first of all, you have less purpose. You are part, you're like, oh no, you have all the purpose. You're part of this bigger thing. No, not at all. Because you aren't, for one thing. And two, that takes away any bit of self-purpose that you have. Any bit of what am I trying to say here? Every bit of self, of drive, of purpose. Every bit of purpose you have is gone. When every bit of purpose you have is gone, you have nothing to live for. When you have nothing to live for, you're probably going to kill yourself. All right, there's a lot of people who, I mean, most people kill themselves because they have nothing to live for. And when you have no purpose, you have nothing to live for. So if you're not doing anything, you're not adding anything to society, you're not helping, you're just a cog in the wheel of a giant socialist machine, you have no purpose. That's why the suicide rate goes up. If you are, like, as a guy, like, this is when you're talking about going all the way back to traditionalism. All right, you have two people. You have a guy who's like, I have a absolute purpose. I am the reason this entire family unit can survive on this front. And then you have the woman who's like, I am the entire reason the family can survive on this front. So you have two people with completely parallel goals working together with the ultimate purpose. That's extremely, there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from that. And I mean, I have a lot of friends who are my age that I've talked to. They're like, well, I just want something more, I feel like it's never really what I wanted. I'm not really having my dream job. I'm like, and they're like, I was like, that's the where you are already starting from is wrong. So like I don't have a dream job. My dream job is one where I can make enough money to support my family and still be able to see my family. I don't care what that job is. It doesn't matter to me, because that's not the point. The point isn't having this great job. The point is being able to, like, the whole reason why I quit the job that I quit was, like, I took a job that pays me less money because it's more time with my family. That's the dream job. So, like, everyone is so incredibly self-centered and self-focused that all you're going to eventually do is lose your sense of purpose, and you're probably going to off yourself.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know how many I don't know how many women would get very mad at me for saying this, but it's true, and that is this: when a woman comes up and says, "I don't know," it's like I don't feel fulfillment in my job, and I don't and I want something more. It's like, okay, then if you really want to be fulfilled, do this: quit your job, go get married, have kids.
Yeah. There's a I think it was just a TikTok that I had seen, actually, just randomly. There's this girl who this is taking an awful long time to load this match, by the way.
Yeah, get out and back in.
There's this girl who interviews people, and she asks them a couple random questions, and it's whatever. I'm not getting up, baby. Hold on. I'm going to sit back down with you. She's asking some random questions, and there was this woman, she just randomly stopped in a bookstore and asked her, like, hey, what do you do? What's this? What's that? And it very quickly came out that this woman is single, chose to be single. She's, yeah, I wanted to focus on myself and my career and something. Yeah, She's like, oh, are you happy? She's like, well, not particularly, no. She was like, I'm very lonely. And it was like, they never came to this point, because this person isn't trying to, make this kind of a point, but it happened. She's like, well, why? She was like, well, my sisters died, and I was never very close to their kids, of my nieces and nephews, and she was, I was never super close to them. She was like, I chose to never have kids because I wanted to focus on my career, and I was so focused on my career that I lost my husband. And it's like, so, that I have, now I'm retired, and there's just nothing. And I'm like, what? That's the thing. Like, imagine, like, people, like, 30 years ago, that would be, like, everyone in the entire world would be like, wow, look at this person, that's so sad. Like, can you believe that? They're 70 and they have no one to help. There's no one. That's terrible. And people are trying to champion that like it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I have to say a Norm Macdonald joke real fast though.
Please do.
It was about someone had committed suicide, and he said, and people say someone will commit suicide, and then they'll say things like, man, I don't understand why he would do that. And they say, really? Really? You really don't understand? Like, I mean, I don't agree with it at all. But I mean, you're living the same life we are. You really don't get why someone might do it.
You don't understand at all? It's awesome.
Or no, I heard a thing one time, and you know how angry I get at typically at people who have and who perform abortions.
Sure.
That's the thing that, as I'm sure you know, makes me very, very angry. There was a woman who had talked about getting an abortion, and I found myself not at all angry with her. I actually found myself feeling actually sad and feeling sorry for her, because it took her after the fact to understand what had happened. And she was talking about, she said she had been raped, and she thought, the only way to get over this, to get past this would be to have the abortion. And she said, so I had the abortion, but having the abortion didn't unrape me, and now I'm just alone without my baby.
Yeah.
And rather than getting angry, I felt so sorry for her.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's super sad. You've got a lot of people who there is such a drive for liberating women and freeing women and giving them rights. I mean, how many women do you know personally? Couple, 3 or 4. How many women do you know that these enslaved, enshackled, terrible existences that all these random liberals are trying to free them from, that hate their lives? Like, how many of them do you know that are like, man, I really wish that instead of this, I was a candle maker or whatever? How many of them are just like, I hate everything about my life and I wish it was different and I wish I didn't have to be the stay-at-home mom. I hate it.
Yeah. I can tell you, I have never in my life met a woman who truly devoted herself to being a wife and mother who wanted to do anything else.
No, not a single one. And so for a while there, we had a lot of... Okay, so I had a lot of different things, and my wife, us together. There were a couple different scenarios that required us to... We were in some spots where we needed to make X amount more money than we were making to handle a few things. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
For about 6 months, my wife went back to work, roughly. Not even that long. It was less than that. And as I was switching my job back over and changing to this other thing, and we got the things handled and whatever, and Ellie quit working, and she was just staying at home and cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids. This terrible existence that the liberals want to save me from. And she's like, this is all I want to do. This is the only thing I want for the rest of my life. She goes, I don't want to go back to work. I want to stay here. I want to raise the kids. I want to have more kids. She goes, now that I'm home, she was talking about saying like, oh my goodness, it's so much work. We should wait to have more kids, and maybe we're not sure if we should have another one, who knows. And she was like, 2 weeks where my only thing in my entire life is focused around taking care of the kids, and now that's when I want more. I've never in my entire life met a woman who that was their purpose where they hated it. Because it's your purpose. And that's awesome. Having a purpose is awesome. Being able to say, here's what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm doing it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever your purpose is, fulfilling your genuine purpose, which I would say for 99% of women, your purpose is to be a wife and mother, and 99% of men, your purpose is to be a husband and father. And fulfilling that purpose is the only thing that will make you happy. If you want to be happy, do that.
Yeah. And people always think, well, I do this thing, and it's because of this, or because of this, and you have... Think about the number of people. I mean, like, it's to the point where it's a joke with our generation and the younger generation about the amount of stress and anxiety and depression and all this kind of stuff. That they're like, it's constantly like this, like that. I said, it's because your entire existence is focused around the opposite of traditionalism.
Yeah. So, do you know? Would you like to know the 2 moments when feminism showed its hand? Speaking of those things,
I'm sure I know them, but I'm sure I know them. But continue.
the very first one was when people talk about, no, the problem isn't old feminism; it's this new wave feminism. New wave feminism is when feminism really was when we really saw what it was about. But the lady who started the original feminist movement in the 1800s, she made this statement: "The greatest enemy of women is the church, and the second greatest is motherhood."
Yeah. And
then this was fairly recently. There was a French woman, I can't think of who it was, and she was the leader of the new wave feminism. And the new wave feminism was when we really figured out what it was about, but it was too late at that point, because most people didn't know what the founder said. But she there was one I was talking to her, and she said, well, I think the one was speaking said, I think feminism is if a woman wants to work, she can, and if she wants to raise kids, she also can. So that is what it means to be liberated as a woman. You can do whatever you want. And this lady who is over the who's kind of the founder of the New Wave Feminism said, no, we cannot give women that choice, because if we give them that choice, 99% of them will choose to be wives and mothers, and that is not conducive to liberation.
Yeah. And that's a crazy thought. So you have groups of people who are so self-aware, and this is true with so many different. You can pin it to any random New Age thought, really. Like, no. We have to change everything, because if we don't change everything, people don't want it to change. And I get if you think you're a revolutionary, I can understand your original thought process of
Patrick. No, you can't be back there, buddy.
Patrick, get up.
Patrick.
Yeah, here.
You have to, if you're going to be a liberator, you have to think about breaking the wheel. I get it. And I understand that's the concept of what you're based around right now. But you literally have to look everyone in the eye and go, no. We can't give the world a choice. We know what they want. Because, I mean, like, if you were honestly asking women, I mean, there's the comedians, female comedians who are, like, famously, aggressively feminist, who make jokes that are hilarious, that are very, very funny, believe it or not, where they say things like, can you believe that we messed all this up? Like, do you realize that 30 years ago, we could just, like, sit around the house all day long, sometimes feeding a baby, and, like, we have a couch that all we do is faint on it? Like, that's who we used to be, and now we have to work. This is nonsense. And it's funny because it's a joke, but also, like, yeah, that's the joke. Yeah, that's what you're doing. But that is the thing. You have to be like, no, we can't let them choose. Because if we let them choose, they're going to pick the thing that we don't want them to pick. And the funny thing is, how often do you see, I don't mean like people that are celebrities that are like archetypes where they're so rich it doesn't matter and all this kind of stuff. How often do you go out into the wild and find a woman who's like, no, I'm going to be I'm the head man in charge. I'm going to make the decisions. I'm going to make the money and stuff, and I'm going to be my own woman who makes all my own decisions and screw men everywhere. If they find a male partner, how often do you find them with some kind of an alpha male, or do you find them with an absolute beta?
Yeah.
Every time. There are no exceptions. And I'm not being like, oh, it's overgeneralizing. You are not going to find the like epitome of what women want in a male. And we're not even making jokes. If you look at like like even like these stupid like tabloids that were like hottest man alive, best guy, whatever. What women actually want? It's always like this archetypal Chad, and that guy is never ever going to pick you.
Yeah, it's usually.
should-
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just rambling.
I'll say it's usually whatever the most modern version of the strongman is, but it's still a strongman.
It's still the strong man.
Yeah.
He's sometimes sensitive. Okay, you're allowed to listen to people and still be an absolute Chad. That doesn't make him different. This is still the same guy. You're still picking the alpha over and over and over again. And I get it. You should. I'm not telling you not to. But at the same time, don't act like it's different because that's why it's so stupid. They're just like, well, technically speaking, it's still feminism and it's still this and it's still modern and still progressive because this guy's this way. You are still picking the Chad. You are still picking the alpha over and over and over again. It's because you're supposed to. And you know you are. And you do it. So quit acting like an idiot. Why are we talking about this?
I don't remember how we got on this. But I'm sure it was needed. Yeah.
Listen to us men. We'll fix everything for you.
Don't just listen to us because we're men. Listen to us because we're right.
Who was it? Arlie, quit it. Arlie, stop. Which guy was it that was tweeting something? And this woman made some kind of a comment and he corrected her. And she's like, you were mansplaining to me. And he goes, yeah, because I was man right.
I
Who
once
was that?
I don't remember. But no, I once someone said to me, they said, why are you mansplaining to me? And I said, well, if you'd stop woman understanding, I wouldn't have to mansplain.
If you'd quit being woman wrong, I wouldn't have to man correct you. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
No, we're not going that way. Nope.
Murphy said no.
Is that?
What?
Is that? Who is that?
Who's what?
And that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It is, yes. Okay, so it's funny that you said that. Do you know why?
Sure.
Because since you separated it, now you have the German word Schwarz, which means black. Which means...
What?
Yeah, it means... Schwarz means black. So since you separated it in that way...
Great, I made it more racist. I mean, great. Out of context, that's a terrible clip.
Yes. Brooke, is it fun being racist? Your smile says yes. Oh, someone said that. Someone put up a thing, someone holding a sign. It said, it literally costs $0 not to say the N-word. And then right next to that was a
It's not
picture
about the money.
about sending a message.
It is one of the greatest memes of all time. It's not money.
This guy's name is Lebowski, but it's with
Is he big?
but the L is lowercase, which makes you think he's the small Lebowski.
Oh yeah, he would not be the big Lebowski. Isn't it Lebowski?
It should be Lebowski, but yes. Oh, that's so funny. What is it?
You were laughing.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cackle with me, son. Cackle. There's only one really good quote from that entire movie, and it's the one that no one ever quotes.
The one where it's dunking in water.
Dunking in water.
I thought that was from Lebowski. I've not seen the whole movie, but I thought that was from there. The Big Lebowski. Maybe not. Like the... Where's the money? It's in there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Let me take another look. That's from... No, that's from...
I guess I just thought it because it said, where's the money, Lebowski. That's the reason why I thought it was from that movie.
I can't remember what. So it's from the one called like Ice Harvest. I think it's from Ice Harvest.
Okay, that's the reason why I thought that is because the word Lebowski popped up in it.
It was really funny. Hot cell now. Let me check it out. Because the meme's always with the baby and the priest talking in there a trillion times. But no, the best one is he's in his bathrobe and he's got a cup with liquid in it that he's drinking, and there's stuff happening rambunctiously in the room. He goes, "Careful there, son. There's a beverage in here."
I like it.
And for some reason, I laughed so much when I heard him say it, and now I say it anytime someone gets close to me when I'm holding a cup of something. And then no one knows it's from the movie, and I have to explain it. Then I look like the autist. So, win-win, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, yes, I can see there's a beverage.
Oh yes, a beverage. You want hold daddy? Give me a baby. Daddy hold you. Oh,
oh man, the way that the way that Jake reacted when he came in and saw us drinking beer. It was the funniest thing ever. Like, he knew that that's what we were going to be doing, and he wanted in on it, and I don't know why he acted surprised, but he came in and said, oh, I see you guys have beer. Well, I also enjoy an alcoholic beverage now and again.
This is like, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally why you came over, Jake.
Like, bud, like, we talked about this beforehand.
We're going to drink beer and play board games. That's what we do. We do this every time we see you.
Like, every time, buddy boy. Well, this is also the same guy. This is only funny because I've known Jake for forever. Like, I met Jake when I was 16 years old.
Yeah, Jake, if you're listening, we love you.
You're one of my favorite human beings. I met Jake when I was 16 years old. I was 27, nearly 27, before he saw me and didn't introduce himself to me. And it's so funny because I was like, Jake, we know each other. I've been to your house. Like, I've been to your house, met your mom, talked to your brother, and then a month later, you're like, oh, I'm Jake. I'm like, I know you're Jake. You invited me over here to play a game with you. What a legend. He's awesome.
He is. He's fantastic. Yeah, he is. I think that's the only reason why we're making fun of him is because he is one of our very favorite people.
Absolutely.
Collectively.
Absolutely. This is very true, but it is very funny. Side note, so we're one of the probably only couple dozen people that's played his board game.
It's good. I liked it.
It is good. I don't know if you and I ever talked about it after we played it that one time nearly a year ago now, but yeah, I was impressed. It's not that this sounds rude to be like I didn't come up with anything, but it seems like making a board game would be so difficult when someone's like, I made a board game. I'm like, oh, so it's bad. Got it. But I mean, it wasn't. It was very good.
Yeah, I am. That was one thing I wanted to do, but he didn't have the if he had the pictures and stuff for the cards, if he had artwork for them, my plan was to at some point, I was going to order a custom deck of cards with all his cards and stuff on them and send them to him. Like,
sorry, hold on. You cut out for me. You're gonna do what with his stuff?
No, I said I was going if he had artwork and stuff for them. And I was going to get the artwork that he had, and I was going to get have a custom deck of cards made with his artwork and card stuff and everything on them, and have it sent to him.
That'd be very cool.
That was my plan, but he didn't have the art, so I couldn't do it.
One of my favorite... Baby, quit playing with my headphones, you little goofball. Two things that I've always thought this would be the greatest job ever, and I do genuinely think that my goal with switching to work from home... This is a strange thing to say out loud, but I'm sure you'll understand. My goal for switching to home was to be able to get in a place to eradicate debt to the point where I could technically work a job that isn't even full-time, if that's possible. And then eventually, look at me play the game, switch over to what I do for a living, and ideally, it would be what we do for a living.
Oh, that was so rude of you.
Together. I don't care about that. I'll take all those kills from people. To essentially start a publishing company.
All right, all right.
I mean, like and it would be board games, it would be books, it would be whatever. But it would be a publishing company. I think that would be the coolest job.
Yeah, that'd be hot. I'd do you.
Todd.
You don't want it. Here it is.
Who wouldn't? Most people. Yeah, I know.
Literally everyone.
Literally 99.9 some odd % of the population, and that's just because someone's required to.
Let's say, like, let's see, who would? Your wife on occasion, and I'm sure there are a couple gay guys.
There's several gay guys. I got hit on by so many gay guys at my old... I get to say my old job pretty soon. That's going to be fun. I got hit on by so many gay guys at my current soon-to-be old job. Which you wouldn't think there'd be a lot of gay guys who own painting companies. It seems not exactly like they're field of work, you know?
I mean, I could see gay guys as painters, but not like... commercial residential painters, more like just like, studio painters.
They just paint. They just like think about their emotions and paint things. Yeah, that sounds about like a gay guy.
Yeah, but not like actual painting, but like modern art finger painting crap.
Yeah.
I actually, I do think, that does seem like a very gay guy profession is finger painting.
I'm sure there's a penis joke in there, but I don't know what it is.
Me neither. It sounds.
Penis. Arlie, no, come here.
What?
You can't have that.
What?
Dada. Come here, baby. Oh, good gun game. I've been wanting to play this again for a while.
Okay.
Arlie, come here. You're gonna turn on my PlayStation.
Hold on 1 second, buddy.
Very
I gotta
close.
get a kill, and I can pick you up. Okay. There we go.
Not until then. I refuse to pick you up until someone's dead.
Someone has mortalized me.
Moidled.
Babe, Patrick, if you keep climbing up on the desk,
Patrick.
Mama's gonna take him back.
You can't do that. You gotta stay with Daddy.
Yeah. Daddy's happy to hold him, but not happy to let him climb on the desk.
That had 71 bullets in that clip. It's incredible. I love it. Let's go.
What'd you say, Brooke?
He just slid right in there just for you to shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, people suck.
Okay, I have the automaton.
Is that what I have too? The first response?
I don't know what it's called. Big red, white, and blue gun.
Yeah,
Or just red and white, I guess. Not quite patriotic.
Well,
Johnny Test.
Johnny Death.
Johnny Test.
Johnny Test. That's great. I'm so sick and tired of these gosh darn snakes on this gosh darn plane.
No, Patrick, you cannot have my mouse.
He's like, but I'm sure I can, Father.
Patrick. Nobody. You can't be doing that. Daddy loves him way too much to let him do that. And by that, I mean you're messing me up. Stop.
But Father, surely you've heard of Sugan.
There we freaking go. All right, now I have this snipper. I didn't get the shot off.
Snipper as well. It's enormous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful gun, and it does have a bayonet on it, which means that I got shot off. A melee kill would count as a weapon kill. Just so you know.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Here, I'll show you. Oh no, it didn't. Nag nabbit. I did. Okay. No, it counted. It counted.
Penis.
It should have set you back.
It did not.
Yeah.
It did. You penis. You penis.
I need to go to the bathroom.
You're giving me for a few minutes while she goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, Tosh said he'll take him for a few minutes. What the heck?
I don't know.
I fired a bazooka at a guy, and it blew up. There's backblast from the bazooka, and it blew up the car behind me and killed me.
Amazing. I love it. This bazooka takes far too long to reload.
Huh?
Leave.
I would rather him be with me and mess me up than be in his room and cry. Oh, then you can try it then.
Make him scream. Why is this not working? This bazooka is garbage. I hit him! I hit him! There we go.
I hit him!
Finally.
No, wait! Come back! I hit him!
I don't even know what kind of gun I have. It's only got 5 bullets, so it's the shotgun. Yep,
It's the icebreaker shotgun. The
The
icebreaker
icebreaker.
shotgun.
Made for shooting men right in the face and nearly demolishing all the...
Ah!
That's you, beautiful. I'm glad that happened.
That's what I say.
I've murdered him. And I'm gonna shoot you, Mr. Revenuer. And Sean left me hanging. Wonderful.
Oh, you will over my dead body. I wasn't paying attention.
Thank you. You're like, I wasn't paying attention, but I heard you exactly.
Well,
Penis.
yeah, that, not paying attention doesn't mean I didn't hear. It means I wasn't paying attention.
That's fair enough, I guess. You do that. You are the reason why people look at me stupid, by the way.
What?
So you do this thing where I will say something, and you do this with not just me, but you do this thing where I will say something directly to you, and you will say, what? And then after about 4 or 5 seconds, you answer me, because you're processing. Every other human being in the world, when they look at you and say, what? It's because they didn't hear you. So I'll be sitting in like a professional setting, and someone will be like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? And I'll stare at them for like 3 very awkward seconds until I realize, oh wait, this isn't an autist. They actually didn't hear me.
So the answer is I genuinely think I didn't hear you. And then I was like, wait a minute, I did comprehend that.
And like the last 5 seconds of your life replay, and you're like, here's the answer to your question. No.
The answer is always no.
The answer is should always be no, if nothing else.
Like that meme that I saw. It was a person talking to a Chad, the Nordic Chad.
Yes.
And the person goes, "Hey, do you support this new bill?" And the Chad goes, "Well, I don't know. What's it about?" And the person goes, "Well, you see, it gives the government power to..." And the Chad goes, "No."
The answer is no. I do appreciate Nordic Chad very much. My favorite one is the they were talking about it's one of those like the whiny face guy that's always in the meme with the Chad.
Yeah.
And he was like, but you do realize that if the Roe v. Wade gets underturned, it's going to completely mess up it's going to completely stop having sex for fun, and hookup culture is going to be completely terminated. And then it's just Nordic Chad right in his ear, and he goes, your terms are acceptable.
Yeah, like that wasn't the goal, but it's a good bonus.
There was a guy, I don't remember his name, but
okay,
he does TikTok stuff, and he's like, look, he says, I just want to start by saying I'm not for the canceling of Roe v. Wade. He says, I'm a very liberal person. He said, but I do want you guys to realize something. Every single argument I've seen from people that are on my side of the argument, he goes, all of you are stupid. He said, you're sitting here going, but it's going to completely change the way relationships are. We're not going to be able to hook up with random people. It's going to completely change the concept of what a woman is. He goes, like, you've just outlined every single reason why they wanted to do this. Like, you think that's an argument to them? They're just getting pumped up every time you say that. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, there's a woman, she was telling me things, said how to argue with a pro-lifer. Of course, almost everything she said was fairly stupid, but she said, you guys have to realize when making your argument that pro-lifers legitimately believe that abortion is murder. And if you don't come in and immediately accept that, they won't listen to a word you have to say. And I said, well, I mean, yeah, she got that right. Yeah.
You're spot on. Congratulations on figuring that part out.
And watch out for the...
I found it. With my face. There's this guy who does this thing. Where he talks about... Like, he goes in, he's arguing with people who are... pro-choice. And he basically goes to them at the rallies, and he's like, all right, he said, like, he said, we won't get into an argument. I just need you to show me on this chart here, on this chart of the development cycles of the baby. No, there's no timestamps. Just you tell me at what point it shouldn't be okay anymore.
Yeah.
And it says like heartbeat starts, this thing, and then like inevitably every single person selects something like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like at the point where nearly 99% of the population doesn't even know that they're pregnant until the point at which all these people were saying, "What an atrocity!" Right?
Yeah. No,
that's
it's
like
horrible.
Congratulations, that's the freaking point.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the world so much. We're just gonna get mad if we talk about this. This has been the most angry. I've not been so angry about a topic in so long.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that makes me angrier than that. That, well, in anything that's destroying actively, actively for the purpose of destroying kids and the family, and that's the stuff that makes me the most angry. So, abortion, transing the kids, feminism, and to a small extent, the workforce and the Industrial Revolution. But that to a lesser extent.
It'd be like that. There's one of
Today,
the
that's a
last
necessary
things,
evil.
one of the last Louis C.K. specials that ever happened before he got himself canceled and all that kind of good stuff happened, which I couldn't care less about, but whatever. He made a joke. He's like, you know what? He said, I'm very liberal. He said, I'm sure you guys know that. He said, I'm an extremely liberal guy. He said, but I never ever get mad at pro-lifers. He goes, like, because you guys aren't understanding something here. And he's making a joke in his own style that's just more of that kind of comfortable humor, which is very funny. I think he's very funny. But he says, like, on one, he goes, if they're wrong, he said, all they're really trying to do is protect life, right? He said, they might be wrong. He said, but their heart's in the right place. You can't be mad at it. He goes, but if they're right, we're murdering babies. He's like, so you can kind of understand where they're coming from and where they're getting so mad because they think we're murdering babies.
That's exactly what we think, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're right.
What's his name? It was, Michael Knowles was talking, it was Michael Knowles, that's who it was. He was talking about, talking to a girl, and she said, hey, you want some banana, buddy? You want a bite?
I do actually want some banana.
But he was, and the girl said, I don't know what to do. He said, my boyfriend doesn't see a problem with abortion up to a certain point, and he said he thought he was doing the right thing when he encouraged 2 previous girlfriends to get abortions, and they did. Like, he encouraged them to do so, and they did. And he thought he was doing the right thing because it wasn't, and I can't convince him that what he was saying was wrong. He genuinely believes he was right. He said, now, you said, now how, it was like, now I don't want to think of my boyfriend as a murderer, but also I don't want to, raise kids with a guy, like, if he's encouraging people to have abortions, what if we have kids in the future and he encourages them to have an abortion or something like that? And said, I don't want to think of him as a murderer. And Michael Knowles goes, oh, well, your boyfriend is absolutely a murderer. Now he can be forgiven of that. God's forgiven worse people, but that's the first thing you need to do is make him understand that he's a murderer.
We're gonna start here, and then move on. But yeah, 100%, he killed people. That's the part of the argument that always blows me away the most. I'm like, the reason why it makes me so angry and why I get so riled up is there's one very important thing about the entire pro-life argument, and it's the very, very first thing. It's the beginning point of the entire argument. Is this or is this not a life form? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, that's pretty obvious. Is this life form human in nature? That is to say, if the life form left to its own devices were to go all the way, would it be a person? It would? Okay. Then you're killing a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole argument. That's all that needs to be said about it. Is it a person? Yes. Is it a life form? Yes. Are you killing it? Yes. I think we're done here.
You cake murdering SOB?
You cake murdering son of a... That's why I think that's why it makes me so angry. Is you have people vehemently arguing to keep this as legal as possible. I can't imagine. I mean, like, I just want to believe that these people don't really know what they're doing in some way or form, because there's no way this portion of the population is this evil, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it can't really be it can't. I mean, obviously, like, we're of the same belief system. People aren't inherently good. People are inherently bad. That's just the way that it is. People are inherently bad. People are inherently evil. Okay, that's just the way that you have to believe if you're any kind of religious whatsoever and you don't believe that people are inherently bad, then there's no point in you believing in any kind of religion. But that's beside the point. People are inherently bad. I don't like to think that people are inherently evil.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between bad people and evil people. People who do bad things that maybe aren't really... People who litter aren't evil. They do bad things.
Well, it's like what C.S. Lewis said. Evil. All evil action done by man is done in the pursuit of a good.
Oh yeah, because that's like
humans cannot fully comprehend the sake of evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
Or the concept of evil for evil's sake.
And that comes from like one of my very favorite sections of Mere Christianity, where he's talking about the entire concept of he's saying like even all evil things aren't original. Evil things come from good things or good desires. They just go to an extent that is bad. There is no such thing as original evil. It's things that are essentially good things that have been taken to an extent that is evil.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people who, I mean, like, that's when you get to the things like that, though. That's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we talking about this so much? Call of Duty. We shoot a lot of Nazis.
Yeah, well, I guess that's something that I said. Now going off away from abortion specifically, just to the concept. C.S. Lewis called it pride. And pride, I think, is a good way for it. But I think it's more descriptive to call it what Matt Walsh calls it, which is self-worship. And when you get to that point where that's what you're doing, right? You are worshiping yourself. You are elevating yourself above everyone else and above God. When you get to that point, that's when you become evil. And so not all individuals live in this society, which is a prideful, self-worshipping society. So the true evil is within society. Most individuals are just operating under the umbrella of this evil society, thinking that what they're doing is normal and good. So the people are, for the most part, trying to be good. We're just failing miserably because we're working under the auspices of this evil society. The evil, prideful, self-worshipping society. But that's the point, though. Once the people themselves get to that point, where they do elevate themselves to that point, and they knowingly are doing that, that's when the person becomes evil.
Right. There's a huge difference there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a subtle one. I mean, it's not necessarily subtle once you understand it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, to anyone on the outside looking in, that is a very subtle difference.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if anyone was really wondering, like, oh, these guys have some mildly conservative ideas, I wonder what their political thinkings are.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
No, you can't have that, buddy.
This is where I think it's important to make a weird note here. This is where you and I veer off from each other probably a little bit. And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Where you and I veer away from each other a touch this is where I really consider myself to be a true, gosh darn it, why can I never think of the name of this when I need to?
Librarian?
A librarian, thank you, a libertarian. That actually helped me remember you're ridiculous.
Well, I knew what you were going to
where-
say.
Yeah, this is where I really turn into a libertarian. Is everything, all of my ideals, I'm very conservative. I'm extremely conservative. But at the end of the day, when someone's like, well, I disagree with you, this is what I think it is, I'm like, okay, go do whatever you want. I can give a crap less. Go do it. But the reason why I'm telling you you're going to be miserable and you're doing the wrong thing, here's all those reasons why. You're going to be miserable for going down this path. You're going to hate yourself for going down this path. Just like everyone else before you has hated themselves by going down this path. Good luck, Godspeed to you. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
But also, I don't care what you're doing because I don't want you to care what I'm doing. That's where the libertarian in me comes out. I don't want you to think about, I'm not thinking about you because you shouldn't be thinking about me.
Yeah, so I think that, it goes back to the every man being his own master. I think that there are certain things that within the privacy of your own home you can absolutely do. But as long as you're in society, do not do those things. For example, technically speaking, yes, prostitution is a victimless crime. Let's go to this one. It is, and there's but there's no way to say it's not at least a little harmful to society.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's another thing is, and so, but when you see it though, outside of the being harmful to society, right? That's a good argument for why it should be illegal. The society should make laws against things that are harmful to society. I get it. That makes sense. But
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, but the other thing is, though, here's why I think it should be illegal besides that, and that is there have been areas that have made prostitution legal. And in every single one of those countries, New Zealand was one of the big ones, every single time you make prostitution legal, within months, child sex trafficking goes through the roof.
Yes.
And so there's got to be, until we, maybe figure it out and get that, see where that connection is and see if there's a way to, if you want to say, hey, we want it to be legal in our town, but we don't want this to happen, maybe figure out where the connection is and figure out how that can, how that can be. Me personally, whether or not prostitution is legal, I think if you're involved in the child sex trafficking business, that is immediate grounds for execution.
Yeah, just murk that guy.
Yeah, and that'll help a little bit, but
which, by the way, is the reason why we're both for the death penalty.
Yeah, but well, I'm not. So I don't really care that much about the death penalty as a deterrent for crime. It's actually shown not to be a very good deterrent for crime. But I think there are certain crimes when that is the only adequate punishment.
Yeah, exactly. That's the punishment for the crime.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you were going to die.
Yeah, people are like, oh, the death penalty hasn't been shown to be a deterrent for crime. Well, I don't care. I want this guy dead. Kill him.
Or deterring him from doing the crime.
Yeah, we're deterring him from doing it again.
He's done doing this crime. Very, very much done doing the crime.
Yeah.
No one in the world is more done doing this crime than this man right here.
Yeah, but he and so because of that, I think it should be illegal for that reason. Drugs. People are like, hey, drugs should be illegal, or we shouldn't. We should loosen up the punishment for drugs, or loosen up the punishment for drugs. Where has that got us? It's led to a lot more overdoses and a lot more other deaths of despair, right? And so yeah, are you hurting anyone? No, you're not. You're hurting society, and you're hurting yourself. And I don't care that much if you're hurting yourself, but you are hurting society. Stop. And that's why these things should be illegal. So my thought was always, if it shouldn't be illegal if you're not hurting anyone. You have to be actively harming someone in order for a just law to be illegal. But then I came to the realization that it also has to be, you also have to, make things illegal if they're actively harming society.
This is, by the way, the ultimate argument for small government. Because if you have big government, big socialist government, they have to make big, overarching, sweeping laws that can't get specific and therefore can't be good or accurate. They can't be helpful. They can't solve problems. You can't. You must have smaller government that takes into account the exact things that are happening in the small community with which they govern, which is the reason why the best governing bodies we ever had, were in the Old West times. They were the ultimate governing bodies, because you had two dudes that were like, here are the rules. I know every single person who I will be administrating these rules to. I know them by name. I know what their dog's name is. That was the ultimate form of government.
Yeah.
Ultimate. And so, like, if you have a situation where you're like, here's the town that we have. Here are the unique problems that this town has. So here are the rules for this town. And we're actually changing the rules because of what happened to the Hutchinson's boy. See? That's important. That's very good. I support that kind of government completely and totally.
Yeah, that's why I like that's why I like the way that the way that our government was meant to be, because that's how our government was meant to be. It was like this. These things affect everyone and all of society. That would include things like the things I just mentioned: drugs and prostitution. So we talked about before: abortion, murder, theft. These things affect everyone. Don't kill people. Don't steal from people. Don't harm society, or if you're gonna do things, or make like something like drugs, right? Make drugs illegal within city limits, or on public land. If you're on private property and you want to do some drugs, do some drugs. There you go.
Sure. Who cares?
Yeah, and so that's the laws. No drugs within city limits, because that's harmful to society, and the city, anywhere in the city is society. If you own a house in the city, you're not your own master, right?
Right.
So
just by definition.
Yeah, it's your fault for living in the city. And then so like that. So and then the states say, yeah, those are great laws that affect everyone. Here's some stuff though that is unique to us. We're gonna make these extra laws here for this state. And then the local place says, hey, yeah, that affects us too, because we're in the state. But here in this county, we also have problems with this, so we'll do this. And that is the purpose of it, is you make broad, sweeping laws that get smaller and smaller. That was the purpose of our government. And so like actually the idea was for the government. The idea was for the government as a whole, not just the federal government, but then by the time we got down to the lowest level of government, the government had a lot of power. It wasn't the government had limited power, it was the government limited what you could do as little as possible. With still making sure you weren't harming anyone, you weren't harming society, you were doing and then allowing you to do the best you can to do the best you can. That was the thing. The total government, include when you get down to local, county, local and county, whatever, state, and then federal government. All governments together, they had a lot of power, and that was good. But they just the limited government is don't use the government stupidly.
Yeah, there was someone talking not too long ago about there's been a huge influx of people moving from places like California and in some places on the East Coast moving into Texas because of the changes that they weren't happy about. Huge increases on tobacco taxes, huge increases on gas tax, huge increases on property taxes, all the kinds of things that people hate, but that must exist in an ultra-liberal society because of the way that they want to govern themselves. And so people are moving away from places like California and the East Coast in favor of places like Texas, Texas being the most popular one. And there's this guy, and it's very important to note that this guy, because of this part of the conversation, this guy is a black guy. And he says, I moved here because I hated the community that I lived in. I didn't like the ideals. I didn't like the culture. He said, I didn't like the culture the black culture that I grew up in. I did not like it. So I moved away from it to somewhere, like he said, I moved to somewhere in Boston. But then I realized I didn't like the liberal culture there. I didn't appreciate that at all. I wanted away from it. So I left. I went to Texas. I love everything about Texas. I love it here. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. It's amazing. He says, what I can't stand are all these people who talk about, he said, that are saying, we need these laws, we need these, we need all this stuff. And then you build this liberal utopia that you think is amazing and then move away from it because you all of a sudden you realize it actually doesn't work. So you move to Texas, and as soon as you get here, you start complaining about our laws and the way that we do stuff. Because all of a sudden we have tens of thousands of people here who are trying to change gun laws, who are trying to change tax laws. He goes, get out of my state. He says, I don't want you here. I don't want you here trying to turn. You just left this place that you screwed up, and you finished screwing it up as bad as it could be screwed up, and then you come here and you want to continue virtue signaling, so you have to be like, well, this place is great, but these things need to change. No, they don't. This is what created this place.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, you know, we'll talk about, you know, the importance of individual liberty. And individual liberty is, in the grand scheme of things, not as important as what we make it out to be. The only problem is the government's already overreached so much, is that people do need more individual liberty than what they have because of the current overreach of government. But really, the idea of living under a government is it's not personal liberty, it's liberty to make sure that you have what you need to do good for to do good for you, for your family, and also, and then by extent for society as a whole. That's not really a whole lot of liberty. But the thing is, it's a lot more than what we have in many ways.
Right. What we're trying to say here, kids, is everything's pretty awful right now.
Yeah. Yeah, really, if you get this, if you want the perfect system, would be this. The original American government. The government actually has a lot of authority, but it was being used correctly. The government had a lot of authority, but then out on his own land, every man was his own master. The family was the most important political institution. There was a, you know, there was no set, you know, church. There was no set government, you know, state religion, but the church still had power because people were involved in the church, and the people had power. You know, it's, you know, it was the, you know, it was the problem. The problems came when they went from when we made the switch from we need to do these things because it's in the best interest of the people, the family, and the church, to we need to do this because it's in the best interest of the government. That is when the problem came. Anytime anyone's making say because this is for the best interest of the government, then it's wrong.
Yep. The entire point of having this governing body is to make things better for people, and it's you can only get this bad. By the way, you know this. I'm not like I'm educating you, but like the only way things can possibly get this bad is when you make it possible that to gain for yourself a better life, a much, much, much better life than other people simply by being in politics. Mm-hmm. And this, you have people who are career politicians. That is a real term that people don't use derogatorily. Career politicians. That means you have people who wish to spend their entire life in politics because it is a better life. That should not be the case. I don't remember the person who said this, but it's a great quote. Anyone who gets rich off of being a politician is a dirty politician. You have people who have become multi-millionaires because of they use their status to do that. Pelosi's a great example. She's made a ton of money off insider stock trading and all kinds of other stuff that is completely illegal, that if you and I did it, we'd be in jail if we did it. And of course, she's just making more money.
Yeah.
If you completely do away with the concept of the ability to be a career politician like that, people that aren't actually in it to help people will eventually all go away. If they're like, well, crap, I can't make a bunch of money off of helping people. This is nonsense. I'm going to go be a carpenter. Good.
Yeah. Anyone who desires power can't be trusted with it.
That's why there's always like some stupid line in any book or movie ever. Sorry, I said that a little bit weird. I was trying to talk to the baby. There, in any kind of a fantasy book or movie where there's a king, there's always some stupid line like, but I don't want to be. Well, that's exactly why you're... Yes, we get it, but that really is the case. I mean, that is the thing. Like, if you shouldn't be the person who wants to have control over other people. If you are, then you're going to do something wrong. You're going to turn into a dictator. You're going to be a giant piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Also, another thing, Shadow of the Conqueror, the book I was talking about before, the guy who was he was the bad guy. Well, he's the good guy of the story, but before the events of the story, he was an evil man who did terrible things, and he was the emperor of a whole country, and he made this. He said, "I thought I was doing the right thing." So actually, he said, "No, I didn't. I knew I was doing the wrong thing, but it felt like I was doing the right thing because yes, I took away the people's liberty to do this. No one owned property. Everything was owned by the state. Therefore, if no one could own property, no one could get rich off of someone else and harm other people like that." He said, "If I did this, it did that." He said, "And I thought I was doing a good thing, or I felt like I was doing a good thing, because yes, my people weren't free, but they were safe."
Right.
And that's, of course, that goes back to that goes back to what Benjamin Franklin said. He said, anyone who would give up in a little essential liberty for transient peace and security deserves neither liberty nor security.
Right. And this is true. Who would have thought that Benjamin Franklin was right?
Yeah. He was right about a lot. He was wrong about a lot of stuff too, though. He was a deist, so you know.
Oh, Benny. Why is he? What? I don't understand why he is on the $100 bill. I've never understood that. What was the point of that? Because of like what made him so much better than, I don't know, George Washington?
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln? Like, seriously?
No.
Alright, this is gonna have to be my last match. Mom has called me and wishes to talk about something. I probably should get my house in order.
Okay.
That's a much shallower comment than it sounds like.
I must get my affairs in order.
Must have my affairs in order before the pox takes me. The monkey pox, that is.
I'm on the Gorenko, and you'd think I'd love this gun, but I hate it so bad. It's the worst sniper.
It's the worst, darling. Rally it is. Whoa. No, I hate this gun. What the heck is this? 25 bullets is bullcrap. That has a lot of bullets. 60.
The Blood Covenant.
If you're playing with a rattler,
you're bound to get bit.
There is less than 2 other people in the universe who would have understood what I was saying right there. I'm only saying one other. Okay, there might be one other one somewhere, maybe, and I doubt it.
Yeah, it is doubtful that as popular as the concept of Odyssey is, those things weren't very popular.
No. And then the kids who did see them
Yes,
were probably
yes.
forced to watch them like we were.
Oh, hey, buddy, where you at? Oh, hey, buddy. What are you doing up there, huh? Hey, buddy. Oh, daddy loved that baby. Oh, kiss my butt.
No, thank you. Oh, it's a shotgun. That's
Oh, you
not very close range.
bazooka whore.
You wiper of other people's buttons.
Hold on 1 second, buddy. Here, Daddy's about to stop playing the game, and then Daddy hold him. Daddy hold him for hours and hours.
For days. Baby, you are not a bird. Quit cheeping. That was revenge? Oh.
The hybrid scope of my World War II gun is literally a red dot with a magnifier.
Ah, yes, just like they had in World War II. Just like Mummy used to make. I'm quite annoyed that I'm not seeing anyone.
Woohoo! So I saw the funniest thing ever. There was a bunch of Chinese people, and they were eating some, like, you know, Americanized Chinese food, like the classic stuff that you think of, like General Tso's and stuff like that. And they gave it, it was General Tso's in this case, and they gave some to like this dude. Dagnabbit. He was probably like in his 20s or so, and he said, "Yeah," to an actual Chinese person, and he goes, "Yeah, there's nothing actually in China like this. Like, this is not real Chinese food. Like, do Americans actually eat this junk?" And then they gave it to another guy, to a girl. She's like, "Yeah, no, you will not find food like this in China. This does not exist in China. Like, I don't see how you could call this Chinese food." Patrick, hey. And then they gave it to an old woman, and this old woman ate the General Tso's, and she took a bite of it, and she got a big smile on her face. She's probably 100 years old, and she goes, "Oh, this tastes just like," and she said something. There was no English name for it, but it was, you know, she's speaking in Chinese, and they didn't translate the word she said, so there must not be an English word for it. And she goes, "This tastes just like this. Oh, my grandma used to make this when I was a little girl. Thank you so much for making this for me."
That's funny.
It was fantastic.
You're welcome. We've been eating it forever. I just threw away an entire carton of this last night because I couldn't finish it. It was $3.95 and it was a number 3.
Like, all these young people are like, "Yeah, no, this isn't real Chinese food. This doesn't even exist in China. What's going on?" And this old woman's like, "Oh, I remember eating this in China when I was a kid."
Back when I was a child and China was young.
Yeah,
All right, well, that's going to be me for the day. I'm going to have to hop off of here. I've already turned off my game. I just go mow my lawn and raise my children.
all that other
Or
gay
the opposite
stuff.
way around. Who knows?
Yes. Okay.